All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in here. 1 second. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, good, good, good. Well, I hope everybody had a blessed and wonderful weekend and a happy Father's Day out there to everybody. So good. So today we're going to be starting a new series, and this week we're going to be talking about day trading process. Okay, and special request from a Twitter follower out there is say, hey, can you get into a little bit more about talking about your process? And today we're going to be talking about the morning routine. And before we get started here, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, so first we're going to check and see where we left off in the market, and then we're going to take a look at the futures, and then we'll get into the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So good stuff here. So let's take a look. So here's the SPX monthly chart. So pretty good so far, right? Green, green, green. Right, so right now, and the futures are green right now. We'll take a look at those in a little bit. So again, just an amazing move here off of the lows here after the Corona crash. Now, big, talk out there on Friday about a second wave, and then we had talk with Apple reclosing some of their stores that they opened up, right? And so we'll see how that carries over into Monday. We had a really choppy week last week, so let's take a look at that and see how we finished on the weekly. So we're above the 30 weekly moving average here from last week with a green candle. We had a little bit of an upper shadow right there. We couldn't quite conquer this big red candle, right? We got about 50% through that range right there, had an upper shadow. And as much as they want to fill that open gap right there, which is a huge, awesome target on a weekly chart, we're not quite there yet, right? So we still got to get above this guy. And then once we do, I would imagine over this level, this 32, 32-ish, right, we should see a momentum move to fill that gap. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes this week. We got a full week this week, and then we got 4th of July coming up next weekend. And so we'll see how that goes from there. So let's take a look at the price action, or let's take a look at the daily chart. So you can see we had a pretty big scare here, right, in the market. And what started that scare in the market? So that was Powell, right? So we had Fed Day on Wednesday, and it kind of started things to the downside, right? So a lot of times we get continuation off of Fed Day. It was a red close that day, and we got nice follow through the downside. It was pretty scary. It was a fast drop right there. Left with an island top reversal, right? It's a very bearish signal right here. And we got big follow through the downside. It's starting to get really scary right here as it closed with big momentum under the 200-day moving average, okay? But is this a shortable candle? Nah, not really, right? Not based on our trendline methodologies, because we need confirmation, right? So that's where the trend box comes in, right? So what this did is it formed the trend box right here, and if we saw a push through there, we did get a nice little momentum move there, for a little bit. But interestingly enough, it gapped up the next day, as we tend to do in this wild, crazy, volatile market that we've been in. And then Monday last week, we got a big buy the dip, right? Came right back through the 200-day, through the 21-day, and pushed its way back up and retested the upward trend line. And then we gapped up the next day. And then, then Fed, not Fed Day, but then Powell was talking all week, and it really kind of just got the market really, really choppy. We had a fresh down move on Friday, but it looks like we might be gapping up tomorrow. We'll see. It depends how the futures end up this evening. So let's take a look at the price action here on Friday. And so you can see here it's pretty interesting, right? So here's your gap up, right? So we had a really super duper choppy day right here. We had a big gap up, shooting star at the 15 warp high, even though it was green, right? Kind of got really, really tight here at the 15 warp low, right? Bull line in the sand, inside 15, boom, it cracked, right? They tried to buy it up right here, ADMA. Push it down below it, big red candle right here, another inside 15, and then just flushed off of that, right? And then we just had the fallout from the flush, right? Just kind of this choppy action right here, a little bit of short covering, right? Bulls trying to buy the dip, they couldn't quite do it. Bears ended up taking over, and then they bought the dip again, and then a nasty close at the end of the day. These are the levels that we provide to our members before each market opens. So you can see here how each of these levels were tested, right? So nice. That's a great breakdown candle here through the this level right here to test the Paradise High, and then another breakdown handle, another one, right? So just a really, really nice momentum move to the downside, and then lower high, lower low, and then a little bit of a potential reversal right there, and then a nasty close. So let's take a look and see what the futures are up to here this evening on Sunday. So S&P futures. Up 11 points, so why not, right? So it was a really super bearish close on Friday, so why not gap it up, right? That's what they like to do. And so we gapped down here this evening, right? You can kind of see a trend line right here, right? We broke through here. Here's your trend box area right here. closed above it and are pushing back through some other major levels right here. So let's see what we can get to tonight and where they end up tomorrow morning. So what we can do is we can put a fresh trend line on this going into tomorrow morning. So we'll see how that goes. Good. So that's where we're at this evening. Up 12 points already. So let's see if they continue to push as the plunge protection team loves to buy these things up at night. So anyway, good stuff there. All right. So let's get into the topic. So this week's kind of a fun one. It's not necessarily technical based, but it's important, right? It's an important one to go over. So today we're going to be talking about day trading process, right? And today we're going to talk about the morning routine. Now, everybody's going to have a different process, right? But I do encourage anybody who's trading full time to have a process, to have a routine, so you can really start to kind of get into it. And then you can kind of hone that routine based on what days are your best days. What did I do different that day that was different from other days, and kind of hone that to make sure that process is consistent with profitable days, right? And so that's the idea right here. So what do we do with what do I do with the morning routine? So just a couple key points here, just to kind of go over. One of the main ones that I like to do in the morning, of course, is try to get a good night's sleep, right? That's a key one right there. Now I tend not to get a huge night's sleep, just kind of military background and stuff like that just keeps you not get as much, but it's okay, right? Everybody's got a different amount of sleep that they need to get. Whatever sleep you get that helps you stay focused throughout the day is what you should, what I would suggest getting, right? And whatever keeps you focused, right? But the first thing I do in the morning, right, what I like to check is I like to see what the futures have done, right? So we'll talk about the evening routine too. That's coming up as well. But what I do is I like to, just like we did here on the futures. So I want to see where we end up in the morning and where we could be going, right? So I'm always looking at the futures and what kind of levels are important, where we're gauging right here. So here you can see we had a major breakdown level here on Friday, right? I'm sorry, on Friday. So we tested here and here twice. So a nice M pattern, right, that we talked about. Okay, we broke through this midpoint level. We definitely broke through the bottom level here, and gave us a nice push down. So this was a major level of resistance. So I'm going to be looking at this going into tomorrow. Right, so I want to see. That's why we review it here tonight, right? So I want to see where we're in the morning. So that's one of the first things I look at, see where we're getting to. So if we're kind of halfway through the range here, then I'm going to start to look and be like, okay, we might see a little bit of strength at the open, try to test those levels again, but we might find it as resistance. Not unless we can close above there, with some strength, with some volume. What I look to test, see if we could test some other levels above, right? And then, right, it's also important to review. Right? It's also important to review the charts from yesterday, your game plan from yesterday, and any notes that you had from the day before. And so that's an important thing too. So for instance, like every night, like I tweet like the go-to list, right? So it's really helpful, especially when you're trading full time, not to get distracted by stuff that you've never traded before. Try to stick to stuff that you're comfortable with, right? So if you're comfortable trading SPY, then just trade SPY, right? If you like trading AMD and Apple, just trade AMD and Apple, and just focus on stuff where you start to get really familiar with their price action. You start to get familiar with what is common volume for them at major different time frames during the day to see if it's a low volume day and you might not get the type of push that you're looking for. Also, it's important to look at these levels too to try to anticipate what type of day is going to be, right? So last week, before each market open, we looked at each day and we could see that we were some of these chop days right here, we were between really major levels most of the day, right? So if these levels don't get broken, we're going to expect chops. So do we want to overtrade in these days? No. Do we want to wait till we break out of these levels? Yes. Right. So these are the exact type of things that we like to look at in the morning to see what we're going to. Okay. So the other part of the process that I do in the morning too is I check the news. Right. So news still is very important to the market. Right. Some people think that news doesn't move the market, but golly, it's really close. It's within seconds, right? So whether the market moves before the news comes out or whether it's after the news, it doesn't really matter. The fact is that news is important, right? So whether it's trade deal news, whatever the current stuff is, Corona news, social unrest news, whatever the case is, very, very important stuff. Or if it's on a stock that you're tracking, that's really important as well. So the Apple news on Friday, that's going to be interesting, right? That's going to weigh heavily on Apple, right? So Apple is one of the big ones to go with the market right here. Of course, the market was weak as well, but Apple is, on all three major listings, right? It's NASDAQ, it's S&P, and it's the Dow. Right, so when you see Apple really start to break out here, right, gets really tight at the open and then breaks through some major levels right here with volume here, right? Increasing volume, and then a flush like that, that's important. And then news comes out too. So this news, we want to see how that weighs on Apple and of course on the rest of the market going into tomorrow. So Apple's going to be on the radar for sure. Now Apple's also got some stuff going on this week. I think they've got like a technical meeting where they're going to be talking about some of the new technology they're coming with it. So that could actually be bullish for Apple, and it might override this news. This news was very important on Friday. Now how important it's going to be on Monday, we'll see. To me, obviously, long term, having their stores closed is not a good thing. But a lot of folks, they still make money in different areas, right? They make it through their online orders. They make it through app stores and things like that. So let's see what they have in store for Monday. So that's one of the big things that we look at. We look at news. I want to see what's going on. The other thing I look at is economic calendar, right? So I want to see what's going on in the economy, right? And is the Fed talking? So that was a big thing last week, right? Is Powell going to be talking that day, right? Because he can move markets. Don't fight the Fed. It just is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it, right? You can't make him not talk these days, and it just kept things choppy. We can't not have an FOMC announcement, right? Which really leads the market down. So we want to know what the economic calendar is. We want to know what the news that's coming out that day, that's scheduled to come out that day. Of course, we've seen tweets come out and everything like that that can move the market, almost instantly. So sometimes, but you just have to be prepared for it, right? What's going on with those, and knowing your levels, knowing the different things each day, can be really helpful. The other thing I like to do is I like to check the gappers, right? That's why I do the orb lists on Twitter, and we do it in our group in the private Twitter as well. So every morning I'll look at see what's gapping on news, because that's especially for our go-to list. So that's important as well. And I also want to see what's moving pre-market too. What's heavy, right? Is oil heavy? Are the airlines heavy? Are cruise lines heavy? Why, right? So these are the things that we like to look at and pre-market. So that's part of the plan too. And then the other thing we like to do is review our plan, right? So we'll talk about what we do after hours too, but every night, right, we have a game plan, and we also have other plans too, and notes, any notes that you took from the last day. That's helpful to refresh yourself in the morning with what you're going to do the next day, right? So if you had something that's interesting that is like hey, this held these key levels, just review those notes, just because when you start to see something happen, it's hard to keep everything in mind all at one time. But when you see stuff start to happen, or if you set alerts at certain areas, and you could put little notes in those alerts, right? You just kind of hit there and you create alert, and you could put notes in there. Put notes on alerts so you can remind yourself on stuff. That's helpful as well. So these are things we like to do in the morning so you can stay nice and fresh. And also review gameplay, right? Or other journal type entries that you had from the day before, just to remind yourself of stuff that was important. It's really helpful. And then in the morning too, it's also good to look for setups. So any pre-market moves that's happening. So triangles pre-market, right? I mean, so if you go like Apple, see what it's doing, right? See what kind of activity is happening pre-market. So if we go here on the 5-minute chart, we can see here we had a pre-market. We do this in our group every morning. We put channels up and look for chart setups right here. So we had a big upward trend line right here on Apple, and it held it for a little bit, and then once it started to break down below that trend line, right, we knew there was a change of composure happening right here. So checking your charts pre-market is really important too. That's why we did a video on pre-market data and understanding pre-market data. Really, really important stuff. Right? So this is all stuff that we do in the group, and but stuff that I would encourage anybody who's trading full-time. And even if you're not trading full-time, it's still a fun process to get into. And then check ranges and your different levels going into the open. So this is all stuff I like to do pre-market. I think it's helpful, and hopefully you guys find it helpful too. Hopefully you guys are able to take some interesting stuff away from that. This week we're going to be talking about other parts of the process, including what we do after hours too, the notes and the type of things that we do, the journals, things like that are important for us for trading. So good stuff. So I hope you guys found this helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window. And we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep, so we can have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. All right. So Dylan sent in a few here via Twitter. So give me 1 second here. A little grapefruit. All right. So Dylan, VBNT. Let's take a look. Wow, this thing's Vivint Smart Home Inc. Wow, what an amazing move on this one. Super duper strong. Look how bullish this thing has been. Big volumes be coming up here. This is huge. This is definitely something to keep an eye on. Very, very interesting. So definitely keep an eye on this one. It's just super holding trend right here. Great volume coming in, and nice find on that one. So good. Let's see SE. This one has been forever bullish. So keep an eye on this one. This is continuing to, I don't know if I have a trend line on this one already, but it's continuing to hold trend, just super bullish pretty much all the time. It did give you an upper shadow here with some increased volume. Maybe it'll pull back to the ADMA, or chop around a little bit and then give another move up. But we'll see. Or as long as it holds this trend line, right, it's still bullish, still proven otherwise. So looking pretty good there. Zoom. Great, Corona name, right? This is one of the big ones, right? So if there's a second wave of Corona coming out, this is kind of one of the areas we're looking at. We were looking at a potential crab pattern up here, but it's got room to go if it wants to, right? So where was the extension on this one? The extension was from here to here to here, right? So the 3.618 is about 253. So maybe it can move another 10 points before it's ready for, some sort of reversal type move. AMZN, let's take a look. Yeah, guys. So definitely keep an eye on these biotech names going into tomorrow. There was a huge pop on these at the end of the day. I don't know if it had to do with just kind of Corona type stuff, but AMZN, huge candle right here, big breakout move, huge volume, right? And making a nice move right there. Just kind of look, all these stocks, it was just choppy all day, and then all these stocks gave a huge move at the end of the day there. So definitely something to keep an eye on here. I like this breakout candle. Is it going to fall through the upside, or is it going to pull back a little bit? That's significant, right? And then start to move. So definitely keep an eye on this one, and like the IBB. And then BJ. Let's take a look here. So so BJ is a nice candle too. This one really kind of got through a lot of major levels right here. So here's your, had the bull flag thing going right here. It, started to break out of this this trend line area too. Big move on BJ. Definitely something to keep an eye on here. I like it. I like the candle. I like the volume. I like how it's breaking out right there. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this one. Watch it for a potential continuation, or watch it for a potential pullback to look for another entry on that one. So looking pretty good there. Give me 1 second. Hold on there. Yeah, I like that BJ. That looks pretty good. I'm going to definitely put that one on the radar. There and there. Good. Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on here. I like it. All right. Next. Good stuff. Thanks for the charts, Dylan. Shirley sent a few in via email. So a lot of some relative strength in some of these names right here. So CLX, big volume here, Shirley, on a red doji. So just be careful with that one. It could be ready to reverse. CVNA. Goodness gracious, CVNA. So Carvana. Also a doji right here. It's kind of in this big. It's been in this big channel here since its ride up. So it might be trying to work its way up here to the top of this channel here, right? It could be a pause day. There's a lot of volume on a spinning top too, so watch that. It could also be reversal. Kind of watch for the price action tomorrow. Regeneron. Again, a couple of these names here. Wow, really big one here. This one's tricky with options. The spreads are really nasty on it, but this one just gave it. This one actually built up for a move here. A lot of them just spiked at the end of the day, but Regeneron gave a nice move at the end of the day. That's a huge candle on that one. Great find on that one. Etsy, I like this one too. This is definitely going to be on our bullish radar too. Huge candle, huge volume. This is not a biotech name, but it did give a nice move right here. This is a big candle right here. Broke out of the geometric lines right here. 3 pause days and then finally moved off of that one. So we'll look for continuation, or we'll look for a pullback to see if it can give another move up on that one. And then INSEE. Wow. Huge candle on that one. Closed above these major levels right here. That's a big breakout candle on Insight. So definitely another one to keep an eye on too, to see if it can continue with this move up. That's a huge candle right there. Watch the upper shadow on that one. A little bit tricky, but we'll. I think that's a good one to keep on the radar. So good stuff. Thanks for that. Thanks for those, Shirley. Kim, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a wonderful weekend too. Yeah, let's get that money. Let's take a look at Spot. So Spot's another one to keep an eye on. Okay, so actually Spot is interesting, right? So this is what we're talking about. So it had a big breakout candle right here, got some huge follow through with another huge candle right here, and it left you with an upper shadow. Okay, so this kind of a nasty upper shadow here on Spot. So watch this one for a potential reversal, right? So it started to reverse Friday, right? About 1 o'clock. See if it gets any follow through the downside. It's a nasty candle on that one. So this is definitely one to kind of just look for a potential pullback on. I'm not bearish on it. It's got it's got a lot of potential. It had a pretty big move up here, but it may give a a one-day pullback on it or something like that. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Facebook. Getting interesting, right? So one, double top right here. It couldn't break down, right? So it's kind of range bound right here. Let's wait and see if we can get to all-time highs with some volume to break out of these levels right here. Some big volume here, but spinning top. Okay, so just be careful with that. Let's see if we can get over those levels. Back to all-time highs. FSLY, I know one of your favorites right here. Yep, so a little bit doji day, not as bad as spot, so this left an upper shadow right here. It could be a pause day on FSLY, so see if they can follow through the upside on that one. Square, tricky one too. This one did leave you that upper shadow and came back into the inside day range, so watch for a potential test of these levels down here. So that could be interesting on Square. Just be careful with that one. And then pins. Let's see pins. Careful with this one. Huge shooting star candle on this one after a big, breakout move. That upper shadow right there. So this one might come back down and retest 50% of that range. So just be careful with those guys. Good stuff. Rocky, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you had a great weekend. Rare. Yep, huge move right here. There's a lot of these names that are big. What I would do is I just kind of track the IBB. This biotech was just a huge one right here. I would just kind of keep an eye on that one. It's a little bit easier to trade than some of these other names, right? So see what kind of behavior that gives you. Nucor, below your geo line right here. I mean, really, it is just kind of like this big triangle. So just keep an eye on that. Look for a breakout move on that. I know it's a nasty red candle, but it's contained within some geo lines right here. So just be careful that it's being held by the 21 day on that one. And then snap. Yeah, big hammer right there. I'm not as much of a fan as hammer breakout candles, right? Because these could be interpreted as hanging mans too. So just be careful with that. It had some good volume right here, but also you got decreasing volume here to get there. So so just be careful with this one. And snap is really tricky to trade, but it did have some great intraday movement on Friday. And I think Wednesday was another good day for it too. So, but yeah, it had some good pushes right here, then some big fall down, then another rip at the end of the day on snap. So just be careful with that hammer right there. That's the only thing that concerns me. I like a breakout Marabozu candle, like a lot of those ones we've been seeing. For like this right here, like that. A little bit of pullback and then up again. Right. So nice candle right here. Boom. Right. And that then that went. But this is a hammer. You gotta be careful with it. A little bit. Okay. Good. Michael, what's going on? Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Absolutely. The world appreciates you. Look at VNet. Woo! Looks like a China name to me. Be careful with this one. Huge candle. Breakout. Caution. These are scary names, right? So just you got to watch out these ones right here. So this has given some big breakout candles in the past and pulled back sharply like the next day. Okay, so just be careful with that one. ZEK, appreciate you for tuning in too. CLDX. Okay, yeah. So ended up pausing right here, gave you a pennant and broke out of that on Friday. That thing's strong. Good stuff. CMCM. Big reversal candle right here. I mean, just kind of a tough level right here, but a massive cup and handle potential. Let's see if we can get a breakout candle on that one and see where it goes from there. And then what else? PD. Beautiful breakout candle this day. Actually, it was decreasing volume. It was a beautiful candle. Where was it coming into? It's coming into some crazy areas right here. There's a gap right here. Right, so there's a little bit of gap resistance right there. A big selling pressure in this area. Right, so it's kind of found a couple of those areas right there. So just be careful of that stuff there and watch that pullback candle. Good stuff, John Jay. I thought we weren't going to talk about this. Amazon. Futures are up right now, right? So futures are up. So that's all that matters, right? So yeah, just don't look at them. Just don't look at them going forward. But yeah, so Amazon, I mean, not looking horrible, right? So it had broke out of this kind of real tight flag pattern right here. We haven't had a lot of really super nice candles, and we got some volume on this spinning top right here. So hopefully it just kind of serves as like a pause candle and then works its way back up to all-time highs. Dubai, what's going on? Roku, let's take a look. Cup and handle breakout on daily. Let's see. It's trying right here. Here's a big cup. Here's a big candle, right? It's got these levels right here. These levels right here. Roku's gonna be tough, right? It's probably gonna trick a lot of people out right here. Now it could be a pause day from Friday. It could be a pause day from Friday. I mean, yeah. So Thursday strong move. So it did it right here, right? So Tuesday strong. Wednesday pause, right? Thursday strong. Friday pause. Monday strong. Let's see. Let's keep an eye on it. Definitely something that we want on the radar for tomorrow. Right, so that's one of the ones we'll look at, specifically to look for bullish price action tomorrow. Good stuff. Enki, what's going on? Good evening. Doing well. Hope you're doing well too. Let's take a look at ZI, Zoom Info, one of our favorites from our discussion last week. Okay, so we did have our inside day, right? Gapped above it a little bit, came back in the range, but left you with a lower shadow on this one. Just continue to monitor those levels of that inside day. See if it can eventually try to close above it and work its way up. WMG. Yep, another IPO type name, inside day, see how important that level was, came back there, held it, tried to push off of it, came back in the range right here, so still being contained by some selling pressure here off of day 2. Good. SPT. Sprout Social, yeah. So tried to make a little move up here. Kind of came back in the range right here. It is closing right on the 80 MA. So see if that continues to hold there. Ping. Big candle this day. A little pullback right here. Let's see if it pulls back to your 80 MA and then tries to work its way back up a bit. And RPRX. Let's take a look. Royal Pharma. There you go. It's a big move up here, spinning top first day. Nice move off of the first candle, right? We talked about IPOs last week. Gave a great move up there, and then pulled back again. So still holding this support here as the first day high. So that's a good thing. And then work. Yeah, so work inside day. Okay, so it had a nice candle right here. This is tough. This, not my favorite type of breakout candle. I like, like a big like this, right? Something like this. With, some good volume and all that stuff. We had good volume on this day. It tried to work its way into the gap. It found a little resistance right there. So let's just see. It might pull back a little bit and then try to work its way back up again. Otherwise, it's working on that head and shoulders type stuff we were talking about previously. Good stuff. The Nest, what's going on? VRTX. Yep, big breakout move right here. A lot of these names, right, had some good breakout moves right here. Watch the upper shadow right here. Couldn't quite close above these highs, so it's not, super breakout, but watch over these highs right here so you guys can move to the upside. And then FTNT. Chopping around here, but big lower shadow off the 8 and the 21. JMOS, what's going on? Good to see you. Apple, let's take a look. Apples and bananas. So we talked about Apple a little bit here today. Just in some of our examples at the open right here. So it gave a big move down, but it held its 80 man, bounced off of it, right? And I think they've got some stuff coming up. Tech conferences go virtual. I think they're doing it. Yeah, the WWDC, right? So this is on Monday. Apple will stream its first all-digital worldwide developers conference on its own platforms, YouTube and other online services. Here's the rumored stuff that's making the most chatter. So watchOS 7, they've got that going. iOS 14. Transition from Intel, they're going to be making their own chips. Traditional hardware updates, AirTags and AirPods Studio. So those are kind of the main things that they're going to be talking about. So that might override, right, a lot of the issues, right, that they had on Friday. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. So we got that going on with Apple. So Beyond. Okay, so Beyond tried to take the inside day up and came back in the range. So watch if it wants to come back and test these areas. There is news out there, right? China doesn't want U.S. poultry products and other potential contaminated stuff, right? Because apparently they're getting another wave of Corona, Beijing, stuff like that. So let's see how that goes. So if that news really kind of takes ground, then alternative food products, alternative meat products might get another bounce, right? Beyond, of course. Why wouldn't these get contaminated too? Anyway, something to think about. So anyway, so good stuff. And then let's take a look at surf. That's what we do all day long. We surf the waves of trading, right? So we got this right here. So a couple different interesting geo lines right here. I mean, this is kind of some big areas right here we want to see us get over. This area right here, that's a big one, right? There is going to be that, right? I mean, 525. There's a couple levels right here that will probably get tested here. But let's wait for a big breakout candle. We do have a nice inside day on Friday. Good stuff. Royal, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Good evening. Hope you had a great weekend too. JP Morgan. All right, looking at some of the financials here tonight. Yeah, so an engulfing day right here. Not bearish engulfing because it's not in an uptrend, right? It's had a big nice move up right here, right? And then kind of came back again. So it's crazy in these levels right here, but it is above its 50-day moving average. See how that holds right here? You got a big open gap below on this one. The banks have been the ones to they've been given a lot of nice early short setups intraday. AMD. Holding trend, getting tight, inside week again, and a bigger inside week. But this thing's getting really tight on the upper trend line right here. To me, it looks like it's just weighing heavy on it. But you got the cloud right here and stuff too. So it either needs to get out of this compressed zone again, right, and start getting its way up here and start to show some magic on this one to get, let's make this a $100 stock. Right? I mean, AMD is fun to trade. So, but it needs to break out. It's getting really, really tight right here. So let's see if it can work its way up. But also want to watch that trend line, see if it breaks down. EEM. All right. Yeah. All right. Emerging market type stuff right here. So work its way up right here. A little bit of an upper shadow at the 200-day. So see if we can kind of break above that, and then it's got to get above those guys too. Good stuff. Michael, yeah, PTON. Let's take a look. Peloton. Nasty, sloppy move up the whole way up. Sloppy. I do like this one right here. This big move. That's a big breakout candle right there. Pause and up again. Then it came back. All right, and then this is kind of a decent candle right here. And then it pulled back, pretty nasty. Then you got a nice breakout candle here, some follow through the upside, then back. Then a bull flag right here, couldn't break out of it. Now it's basically just hanging out. A lot of upper shadows at all-time highs. So this is a tough one to trade, guys. Maybe you can catch a day trade on it. I caught one the other day when things were boring and it had some good volume coming in. But other than that, it's been a tricky one. So just be careful with it. And then CRWD. Yeah, so CRWD, upper shadow right here with big volume. So just be careful with that. You know, it needs a strong candle. Good stuff. X Country Kev, what's going on? Good to see you. GDX. Okay, so GDX, has been showing some strength right here. Let's see how gold futures are looking tonight. Gold futures are up 20 points. Wow, big move up on GC tonight. Let's take a look. I don't even know where that even came from. Yeah, so GC is up tonight, guys. So that's looking pretty good right here. So let's see how that does for the miners tomorrow. So your GDX is right here. Okay, so let's say it should gap up above that right here. So just kind of see how it holds there. See what kind of candle we get on this one. This definitely want to keep on the radar, especially if we get some good volume coming in. I'd like to say if the market gets weak, but this has been going down and up with the market too. It's a highly manipulated sector. Silver too, big spinning top right there. So just be careful with that one. So it's basically you got your upper trend line right here. It's essentially retesting these levels. So it's going to take some work. It needs some strength, but it's definitely been plowing its way up. All the way from that $10. What a bargain that was. We talked about that here. What a bargain that was there at $10. Anyway, good stuff. And then Nicola. Say like Nicola. So, yep, getting really tight right here. Double inside day. Couldn't take it to the upside. Back in the range right here. Still has high volatility on it, but I want to see a big candle breakout or a big candle breakdown on this one to see if we can get some follow through on it. Good stuff. The Nest, DKNG. Yeah, so it's trying, right? It had some huge volume on an inside day right here. Let's just see if we can get above this 42.80 level, right? So lots of stuff about sports being delayed, right? And which could affect their business, right? Because they're essentially a sports betting company, right? They're a fantasy betting or whatever they want to call it. So just keep an eye on that one. Latrell, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. SPY, let's take a look at the SPY. So we finally got a little bit of volume in, right? And on a red candle right here, but we have a lower shadow here, the 21 moving average, right? If we just kind of extend our trend line up a little bit right there, right? So we close below the upper trend line. So let's see if they can try to push it above it right here as we monitor the futures throughout the evening. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for the Father's Day wishes. I really appreciate it. SQ. Big upper shadow right here with increased volume today. So watch that. I might want to test the bottom of that inside day range. It has been having some good buying pressure in today, so just keep that in mind too. DOCU, too rich to get it. I know this is a tough one to get it right here. It's sloppy. This is not one with I don't like this one with options. But this is kind of it's good Corona play right here. As consistently stayed up with shares. It's one you just kind of let ride. But at this point, yeah, it's getting pretty high up there. Really it is. It's getting a little extended there. I would imagine some sort of, look, even the cloud is parabolic. You don't see that too much right here. I guess you could kind of do like an extension on this one, maybe from here to here. That thing is so high up there. Just from that one, maybe it could get up to 184. Crazy on DOCU. It's not even really good. I've used DOCU before. There's free stuff out there where you can get like DocuSign, that you can get documents signed, electronically. So, but anyway, I'm sure big companies don't mind paying for it. So, whatever. Looking pretty good right there. But yeah, definitely just basically riding up that 80 MA, and every tick down basically hits the 21 day and bounces off it. 21 day and bounces off it. Pretty interesting stuff on that one. Huge trend. Huge, strong trend. Jay, what's going on? CWH. Let's take a look. Camping World. Yeah, this is a huge one too. Look at that. One bounce off the 21 day and then see it right back to the upside. A little bit of a spinning top right here, so watch out on that one. PayPal. Again, similar to Square. Right, this actually gave you a bearish engulfing candle. Bearish engulfing candle. So that is a huge reversal candle and definitely one we want to look at, on the short side. Okay, so good stuff to look at there. So Apple, give me 1 second there. Yeah, great find on PayPal. Nasty candle. Good stuff. Ankit, yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. Win, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at Shopify. All right, so just huge move out of this candle right here. We talked about it here. We talked about it on the live streams. We talked about it in Twitter. Right, big volume candle right here. Nice break out of the triangle. 2 pause days, and then super move to the upside. It's pausing again up here now. Just be careful. It could be a reversal doji. Right, look for the price action tomorrow. Good stuff on that. UCO. Yeah, really choppy down there. USO you could look at. See how that's doing, just kind of climbing its way up slowly. You can look at a couple names in there, Oxy, right? You can look at the CL. See how your oil's doing right here. Inside day so far on oil futures. And Boeing. So Boeing, this is a key level right here, guys. It's important, right? Yeah, this one could get strong tomorrow. It could give a bounce off these. It has to. Otherwise, we might see a breakdown below this trend line again. And then, technically, there's a level right here that it would need to get through to really be bearish. But let's see if we can bounce off of this upward trend line here. Good stuff. Thanks, Wayne. Bagish, what's going on? Good to see you. ZS. Big move and a bearish engulfing candle. So watch ZS for a potential reversal. Chewy. It's trying. It keeps on trying. One of Buddy's favorites right here. Possible mega bull flag right here. I do want to see. It's a good candle with good volume, but again, it left you with that upper shadow. I want a real candle up there. I want something that's like, let's do this, right? Like that. Boom. Right? Or pull back and up. I want to show that they're serious about it. I like the volume. I'm not happy with the candle. Good stuff. Thanks, Bagesh. The Nest. Shul. Oh, wow. So the Tortoise Acquisition Corp. So that was a huge gap up the other day. Which one are they acquiring here? This one is who are they becoming? Additional units. Shell Seafood Restaurants. Anyway, huge move up on this one right here. So definitely crazy activity. Definitely see how it does right here. Big red candle, or it could give you an inside day tomorrow. Definitely something to look at. Let's check on it tomorrow. See what it looks like. GO, what's going on? WRTC. Let's take a look. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Wrap Technology. Nice one for the current social environment. BYD. Boyd Gaming hanging it. Yeah, kind of pulling back a little bit right there. Just be careful with that. It looks like it's kind of forming like a small little head and shoulders right there. So just be careful with that one. QQQ, especially if you get if we get another wave that really kind of scares the market. Watch out for your cruise lines. Watch out for your airlines, and watch out for your casinos. Right. So QQQ again, all-time highs. Not too long ago, and basically just below the upper trend line right there, but trying to plow its way up. J&J. Again, big move on a lot of these names on Friday, but J&J did not really participate. It finishes green. Gave a little bit of a spike right here, but kind of pulled back. So just be careful with that one. And then SNE. A little bit of pullback. Yeah, looking pretty weak right here on SNE. So if it breaks down below these lows, you might see a gap fill right here. And then if it gaps down, you got an island reversal top right there. Just be careful. It's an ADR, so you see a lot of gaps anyway. Good stuff in Ping. Yep, Ping, same thing. Nasty candle right there. So again, let's see. We had a good breakout candle right here. See if that pullback becomes viable. Keith, what's going on? Chegg. And a lot of folks like this Chegg 1%. Yeah, it's a good candle on Friday. Upper shadow. Right, closed right at the prior high. So just be careful there. This high right here was 67.98. Right, and it closed below it. So just be careful with that. A little bit of upper shadow, but it's definitely showing some relative strength. And I know you all been tracking it for a while. So nice job there. Netflix. It's working on it, right? It's just, slowly got out of its downward trend line trend box right here and just kind of ground its way up last week. It's, really close to all-time highs. So it might try to make a push there. But you guys know how Netflix behaves around all-time highs. It loves to pull back off of it. It likes to try it 3-4 times before going. AYX. Spinning top. Careful. It could be a potential reversal pattern. SUIK, what's going on? U1. Yeah, 40 in a week. I know. Huge move on this one right here. This thing's just been crazy. So big inside day, big push, big upper shadow now, red candle. So just watch out for that one. Looks like it was down after hours too. A little bit after hours on Friday. So just be careful with that one. Pretty wild, huh? Yeah, the Nest Pen. Yeah, watch out for those casinos. Okay, the little pullback right there. It's still holding the ADMA. So that's a good thing. And KL. KL looks like it's forming like a big bull flag right here, right? So if you kind of stretch this out a little bit, you can kind of see there's a bull flag going on that one. How would I trade VBNT? I probably wouldn't. But it's just kind of working its way up. It's strong. Does it have options? It's got some options on it. Not a lot of volume. It's one you can kind of just maybe try something on it. It's just working its way up. So you can look for setups intraday. See look for a pullback if possible. If this thing gives pullbacks, it just seems to be super duper strong, right? So it's been pretty crazy, right? Huge move up, big move down, right? It's finally getting out of this range right here, right? Finally giving some volume out of this range right here. So just something to keep an eye on, right? See if it continue to get some continuation. Look for a move over the highs. Look for a pullback to the trend line. A couple different considerations that you can do. Good. The Nest Info. Info Systems. Okay, so interesting, right? Just keep an eye on these lines right here so you can get a geo break on there one way or the other on this triangle. SNDC4S, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. SUIK. Hi, would you share your thoughts on U1? Yeah, we just looked at that one for you. It's going crazy. So it might give you an inside day. If it doesn't break down below those lows, you might see a push to the downside on it. The Nest Octa. Yeah, slow grinding its way up right here. Just be careful with this one. Sector's been generally pretty strong, but this one hasn't really been getting a lot of force on it. Spinning top right here with increased volume. Just be careful. Good, and wing baggish. Yeah, decent breakout candle right there. Good volume. See if that one can get some follow through on that. Dividend REIT stock. Well, I don't recommend investing in anything, but REITs are very risky right now, right? Well, a lot of with the Corona stuff, with slow reopening stuff like that. Oh, and looting. So a lot of folks aren't paying rent, so you got to be really careful with that. So you got VRM. Oh, new IPO, good. Yeah, Vroom. We talked about this one on Friday. We put a couple key levels over here. Let's see if we can get over the opening day high. I like the doji right here, so it could be a doji sandwich, right? It might start to work its way up off of that. Good. Tip for reducing taxes in trading. Depends what country you live in, right? But definitely talk to a tax professional. Definitely talk to a tax professional. So good. Obviously, you can trade in an IRA, right? For you pay taxes down the line, right, based on withdrawals and stuff like that. So there's all sorts of techniques right there. But definitely talk to a tax professional. BETZ. Inside day up, just kind of doing its thing right here, sports betting type stuff. So just be careful with a lot of sports not opening up again. Well, good stuff, guys. Well, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. I think it's going to be a great conversation this week about the process and, just kind of putting a process together for trading. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. And thanks again for tuning in. Again, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. So, yeah, you want to look at IWM? Yeah, so IWM, nasty pullback there, right? So watch it. It follows the banks a lot. So good stuff, guys. I hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. Stay healthy out there. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, and be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here. Always appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.